I'll show you all the slides that I've prepared. Not much time I have given. This is visible, unit 1. What all topics are there?
Yes.
Okay, so can you just very fast write down all these things? The first topic. First one is battery, just write down this much. Battery, second one is charging system. So if you have a pen and paper, it will be easier for you because now after this I'll be showing you a lot of images and you have to identify which part or which unit we are actually talking about. So just write down first one battery, second one charging system. In charging system you can write down under charging system you can write down shunt generator. So first topic is battery. We'll be talking about lead acid battery only. Second one is charging system. Under charging system you can write down shunt generator, voltage regulator. So I think you know what is a voltage regulator. Can anybody tell me what is the regulator doing? Or what does the regulator do? Hello?
It doesn't allow the fluctuation and it keeps the voltage constant.
Very good. So few components we always should keep in our mind, that is rectifier is actually converting the AC into DC. That is the first thing.
DC.
Inverter, we know it converts DC into AC.
DC to AC.
Yes, and regulator is not allowing any fluctuation. If voltage is less, can regulator make it more? Suppose if it's a let's say a 6-volt regulator. So if voltage is 5.5, can the regulator make it 6? Anything comes to your mind, just answer yes or no. If the voltage is 7, can regulator make it 6 volt?
No.
So how is it going to regulate then? So at the input of the regulator, we are actually, Naveen, have you joined?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is our topic today, automotive electronics. So we are going to see the different parts related to the automobile system. Okay, so this was the first slide, and then I have come to the second slide and I have asked you to write down few things. So if you have a pen and paper, just write down first thing is battery. So here, as per our syllabus, they are saying it is alkaline battery. Okay, so we have to see the constructional aspect of alkaline battery, and lead acid battery also we will see. Next is charging system. So in charging system, there are few electronic or electrical components. What are the electrical components? First thing is there is a shunt generator. So we know what is a shunt generator doing. It is generating DC. Okay, and there might be alternator. So alternator we have seen yesterday. Alternator is a AC generator, so it is generating AC. So there is coming a third component in the second topic. So first topic is battery, second topic is charging system. In second topic there is coming another topic, subtopic, which is called as a regulator. Naveen, any idea what is a voltage regulator or current regulator?
It regulates current, sir.
It regulates currents. Okay, so regulate means if we want regulator, if we want constant voltage of suppose 6 volt. So if the input to the regulator is 7 volt, then also the output of the regulator will be 6. If the input to the regulator is 5 volt, then also the output will be 6. Is it understandable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So generally students are having a wrong concept, or maybe they're doubtful that always if higher voltage is there, then only it can regulate. So if I want a constant voltage to be 6 volt, if 7 volt is there, higher voltage, then only it will be able to produce 6 volt. If 8 volt is the input, then also it will be regulating and giving out 6 volt. But if the input voltage is less, suppose input voltage is 5 volt, then also it can be regulated and the regulator can produce 6 volt. Understandable, all of you?
Sir.
Okay, so if but there is a certain range that it can regulate. I'm just giving you a case, that is, it's a voltage regulator of 6 volt. If you want, you can write down it's a voltage regulator of 6 volt with a regulating range of plus minus 2 volt. What is meant by that? Just have a guess and just have an answer. It's a voltage regulator of 6 volt with a plus regulating range for plus minus 2 volt. So what is plus 2 for 6? It is 6 plus 2, 8. What is minus 2 for 6? It is 6 minus 2, that is 4. Okay, so if the input voltage is anything in between 4 volt to 8 volt, the output voltage of the regulator will be 6 volt. Is it understandable? So
Yes,
always
sir.
try to understand things simply. In books, lot of things are written, but you people cannot interpret. So initial lectures, I'll be opening the things up like this. So what is a regulator? Current regulator also same. Suppose I am saying I want a current regulator for 6 ampere. But if input is 0 ampere, can you get 6 ampere? Answer is no. If input is 600 ampere, can you get output as 6 ampere? Answer is no. So every regulator is having a range. If the input current or if the input voltage falls in that range, then only output can be regulated. Is it understandable? So whenever I am telling you a regulator, you have to find out what is the regulating range and what is the output regulated voltage or current. So I have given an example of 6 volt and regulating range is plus minus 2 volt. That means 6 minus 2, that is from 4 volt, and 6 plus 2, that is up to 8 volt. So any voltage in between 4 volt to 8 volt, the regulator output will be equal to 6 volt. But if the input voltage goes beyond 8, if the input voltage is 10 volt, are you going to get output as 6 volt? Answer is no.
6,
Okay,
6 plus 2 will be 8.
because it is going beyond the range. Do you know the blood pressure medicine? Why do we take blood pressure medicine? What does it do actually? Blood pressure medicine or sugar medicine, what does it do? Speak up. Unless and until you are speaking up, nothing happens. You are empty. Just say anything. Let it be wrong. Doesn't matter. Why somebody takes blood pressure medicine? Okay, chalo. How much is normal human blood pressure? No idea? If it's no idea, then say at least no. I don't
120 by
know.
80.
Nobody knows what is normal human blood pressure. Okay, it is 80 up to 80
120
is
by
the lower
80.
range and
So
120 is the upper.
120, 120 bar 8, 80.
तो बोलो ना, why are you keeping shut? Just say something, say anything. गलती होने दो, doesn't matter. Say anything. Okay, so we know it is 80 to 120. What is 80? When we are ekdam calm and quiet, when we are sleeping, at that time our blood pressure should be 80. And when we are too much exhaustive, uh, we are suppose cycling or we are maybe running and all those things, at that time our blood pressure should be 120. So lower range normal is 80, higher range normal is 120. Why a
blood pressure
person
will be
takes blood pressure
120.
medicine? Any answer? Nobody?
So that it
Sir, your
is
voice is
between
breaking.
the.
We are not in sync.
See, I'm with GIT network, so it's a big network, and we are conducting lectures on this. So, is there a possibility that at your side there is some network issue?
Sir, I am also facing
No,
same
sir.
problem.
I don't
Mm,
think.
maybe.
Okay, so I'll go slow. Fine. So, as soon as I'm throwing some question, just answer it in simple words. Just say yes or no or something. Regulate the blood pressure. And regulate means we want the blood pressure to be 80 120. Okay, so there is medicine for regulating pulse rate also. What is human pulse rate? How much is that? Heartbeat rate, how much is that?
72, sir.
Yesterday we discussed, so remember what all have been discussed. So it is 72 beats per minute. Okay, and how much is human body temperature? Normal.
90, 90 Fahrenheit, sir.
Yesterday somebody said 92. Today
97.
you are saying 95. Yesterday I gave the answer. Keep
Sir,
writing. It
90.
is 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. These are very basic questions. These are the things that tests your general knowledge skill, which is equally important for any researcher. So whenever you are doing MTech research, you should be having, you'll have to do a background study, okay, of whichever field you are doing research on. So all these normal measuring parameters you should know. Okay. So whenever we are going to drive car or something, at that time you have to check whether all the parameters are in sync or not. I think Navin can help us with that. What is the tire pressure normally?
Sir, normally it should be 35 to 40, sir.
What is the unit?
Pascal.
Pascal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please check it and tell me tomorrow. You have to give me tomorrow means next class. You have to give me the correct answer. What exactly should be the tire pressure for a four wheeler? Okay, so you are saying 35 to 40. Let me check, because in our car when we had done it was it had so I think you are correct. It had fall down somewhere to 12 or 13, so it was very less. Okay, so all these normal parameters we should understand, and we should be having electronic circuits in car to regulate all those parameters. So in charging system, voltage and current regulator, they will be regulating the stored voltage or current. So yesterday we had talked about something called as SOC. What is the full form?
State of the charge.
State of charge. So state of charge is something that actually tells us about the status of the
State
battery.
of charge.
Yes. So whatever is the charge stored in the battery, whether that is up to the mark or not, that means the battery will be able to deliver proper
That's
power
it.
when required or not. Okay. So that is actually measured by state of charge. Anybody checked what is SOC sensor? I asked you to check in Wikipedia. So I asked you to check two, three things. One is Coulomb. I asked you to check that. I asked you to check what is SOC. Anybody checked it?
Supercapacitors that we had checked.
Ultra capacitor also I had asked
Ultra
you to check.
capacitor. Say yes, ultra capacitor. We did. I did check.
Okay, so just check it. Another is SOC. How do you measure the state of charge for any battery, or what is the sensor used for finding state of charge? Okay, this is another thing you have to. So this is the second point. Second point, the sub points are shunt generator, and then maybe alternator, then voltage and current regulator. And last topic is compensated voltage regulator, alternators, principal and constructional aspect of bridge benefits. So there may be some bridge rectifier or something. Let us see. So that is second topic, charging system. What is the third topic? Starting system. What all electrical components can we see? Just read the slide and tell me. Third chapter, starting system. What all electrical components can we find?
Series motor.
Series motor, write it down. Anything else?
Starter motor.
Starter.
Starter drive units.
Actually, starter motor is not there, so something is called starter or starter for a motor. Okay, so one is
Starter for a
series
motor.
motor, second is starter, and third is starter drive.
Starter drive.
And fourth is ignition system. So ignition system is all about coils, because we are actually energizing the coil, and the coil is getting energized and it is giving
Yes, sir.
us some kind of spark and all these things. So
Ignition
what all
system.
things Naveen can help us with that? So fourth chapter, what all things should we study? So first one is battery coil.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Magnet ignition.
battery coil and magneto ignition system. That is the first thing. Even if you are not writing, it's okay. At least you should know what are the topics you should want. Second one is spark plug. So Naveen, just tell us about spark plug, what it does in short.
Sir, spark plug is used in petrol engines, sir. It ignites the flame inside the head to start the combustion.
Yes, so the combustion process actually produces energy. So to initiate the combustion process, whenever we are putting the ignition of the car. At the time the spark plug comes into picture. And one very unique feature of spark plug, can you tell me, Naveen, how much is the voltage and how much is the current?
So nearly 190, 90 degrees Celsius, sir. No.
90.
Yes, sir.
So for bike, I heard at the time spark plug generates almost 26,000 volts or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you electrical people, did you know this? That in spark plug, when the spark is generated, so spark is generated because there are two electrodes and which are having very small air gap in between. So what we are doing is we are creating very huge potential between those two electrodes, so that the so that the air in between those two spark plug, actually they are getting ionized and they are producing the spark. And for bike, when I was talking about, so I came to know it when I started my teaching. So at that time mechanical engineering students, they told me, sir, voltage in that spark plug is 26,000 volt. So it is of that nature, so very huge voltage is produced. But don't worry, it will not give you shock or something, because current is very very less. Okay, so we get shock not because of voltage, we get shock not because of current, but we get shock because of power. So if voltage is very high but current is very low, in that case the power becomes low. Okay, but to ionize the air, we create that much very big potential difference between two electrodes. Those two electrodes are there in the spark plug and they produce some spark. And there is already a mixture of fuel. So I think Naveen, you are also aware how it happens.
Hmm.
So actually the fuel, and fuel is kind of a sprayed. So whatever diesel, petrol we are taking, that is kind of a sprayed inside the IC engine, which is full form. Full form is internal combustion engine. So there are four stroke, there are two stroke, all those things are there. Two stroke engine, four stroke engine. So inside that there is a mixture of air. Air means oxygen, and mixture of air and fuel. So fuel is sprayed and air is also pushed. So they are mixing in proper quantity percentage. So they are producing a combustible mixture, and this spark plug ignition, whatever spark is generated, that is initiating the combustion process. And when it starts, it keeps on going till we are not switching off the car. Okay, so this is what happens in case of IC engines. And here we are finding that ignition system. So this is also not a simple system, because if ignition system does not function, let the car be very sophisticated, let the car be very big, the car will not start because ignition system has failed. Okay, it's a very small thing, but it is very important. So what all things we have to study in ignition system? First one is a battery coil and magneto ignition system. That is the first thing. Second one is the spark
Battery
plug.
coil, magnetic induction.
Yes. So
Spark
third one is the electronic ignition system. And there is fourth type is solid state ignition system. What is meant by solid state? Any idea, Naveen? What is meant by solid
Solid.
state ignition system? Electrical
Means
people, solid state means what? What is meant by solid state? So solid state means it's related to semiconductors. Okay, so previously there used to be contact type switch, now we are using solid state switch. What is meant by solid state switch? It is nothing but semiconductor switch. So transistor can act as a switch, diode can act as a switch. There are other electrical or electronic devices like SCR and another thing, triac, diac, all those can be used as switch.
Hmm.
Okay, so have you understood what is meant by solid state, Naveen?
yes, sir.
Solid
Yes.
state means it is related to
Diode
semiconductor.
or
So
transistor.
diode,
Semiconductor.
transistor, diac, triac, SCR, IGBT. So there are many different types of semiconductors which
Thyristors.
can be thyristors. That is what SCR. So they can be used as a switch. Okay. So solid state ignition. That means the ignition is controlled by some kind of semiconductor device, and there are principle of operation. Then lastly, we are finding contactless electronic ignition system and electronic spark timing control. Okay, so when to generate the spark, that is a very big question. So the timing control for spark is also there. So we will study about that also. Okay. So this is more or less around 10 to 11 things that we are supposed to study. That we are supposed to study battery, shunt generator, alternator, regulator. Then we have to study ignition system, series motor, and there are 3 4 different types of ignition system. So this is mainly our chapter number 1. Let us see about unit number 2. What all things we have to study? Okay, so what is the difference between sensor and actuator? Can anybody tell me? So if I say RTD, that is resistance temperature detector, or thermocouple, or thermistor, okay, they are sensor or actuator?
Sensor.
Sensor. So thermocouple, thermistor, and all. What kind of sensor are they? What parameter are they sensing?
Temperatures.
Temperature.
Thermocouple
Very good.
temperatures. Temperature.
Electrical people, any name for let's say pressure sensor or load sensor? Do you know any name which can sense pressure?
Uh,
Have you studied this? This was in your syllabus or not?
no, pressure sensors, no.
Pressure
But
sensor,
we
force
have
sensor, Pranita?
No, sir.
Any idea? No? Have you heard of load
no.
cell? Have you heard of load cell?
Mm,
Have you heard of LVDT?
yeah.
I think you
LVDT,
have.
yes. Yes.
Electrical without load cell, RVDT, LVDT, all those things not possible. Okay. Have you heard of burden tube?
Yes,
I think you
LVDT we
have.
have studied too.
Hello?
LVDT. So LVDT, can LVDT sense
Yes.
force? Can LVDT sense pressure? Yes. So first the force and pressure is converted to some kind of displacement, and LVDT senses the displacement. So if you are trying to measure force by using LVDT, Naveen, have you heard of LVDT?
No, sir.
Okay, so it is called, there is a kind of a coil, and we are actually shifting the core of the coil. So whatever material whose displacement we want to measure, that is actually connected to the core of the coil. Okay, and there is a differential arrangement we will show you. So if the coil is moving, so from left to right or right to left, at the time in the coil the voltage changes. So more is the displacement, more will be the voltage. And from left to right, if it is generating positive voltage, when the coil is moving from right to left, it will be generating negative voltage. So displacement is a scalar thing or vector thing? Displacement
Vector.
is a scalar thing or vector thing?
Vector, sir.
Just say anything and let it be wrong, and we will
It
justify
is
afterward.
vector.
Can you? You are correct. Can you explain why is it a vector?
It is vector.
Why? Why is it vector?
Because it indicates the distance traveled, sir.
Is that
It is
scalar or vector?
vector
So I say distance is 5 meter.
bec-
5 meter distance traveled. That is scalar or vector?
in a direction. It is
Direction is
vector.
important. So Naveen, your answer is half correct. If you are saying that 5 meter distance traveled, in that case it is scalar. But 5 meter distance traveled towards right or 5 meter distance traveled towards left, then it becomes a vector. Understandable? So only if you are saying about displacement, 5
Yes,
meter
sir.
distance traveled, then it is scalar. Pranita?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Okay. So only if you are saying 5 meter distance traveled, that means it's, I am talking about a scalar quantity. But I am saying 5 meter distance traveled from left to right or 5 meter distance traveled from right to left. So if I am mentioning the direction, then it becomes a vector. Otherwise, only 5 meter distance traveled,
Vector quantity.
it is a scalar. Okay. So temperature difference. If I say temperature difference between yesterday and today, it is 5 degree. So I'm talking about a scalar quantity or vector quantity.
Vector quantity if you are putting a reference of tomorrow yesterday.
No, but I have not said whether today's temperature has increased 5 degree or decreased 5 degree. I've just said temperature difference between yesterday and today is 5 degree. So it's a scalar quantity or vector
Scalar
quantity? It's a scalar quantity. So it
Scalar
all
quantity.
depends on, it all depends on how we are saying, or how many how many, what we can say, field we are generating. So if I'm just saying it is 5 degree, okay, only one field I'm talking about. Field means data field, okay. But if I'm saying temperature difference is 5 degree yesterday and today, 5 degree positive means if yesterday's temperature was 25, today's temperature is 30. So in that case, the temperature becomes a vector quantity. So whenever this kind of questions are asked to you in the interview or in any competitive exam, you have to just think in proper direction. Hold, don't give answer at once. Okay, just think properly and then answer. Okay, so the same thing can be scalar, and same thing told in a different way, it becomes a vector. So what we had been talking was, we had been talking about very basic sensor arrangement. So Naveen has said that there are some sensors like thermistor, thermocouple, and RTD. All those things are temperature sensor. And Iram has said that LVDT is a pressure sensor. Pranita, can you name any sensor for any parameter? Anything comes to your
uh,
mind?
ultrasonic sensor,
Very good. What does it measure?
distance.
Distance. So it kind of measures relative distance. Can, is there any light sensor which can tells me whether there is light or not? Anybody of you?
Uh, yeah. Um, infrared
LDR.
photosensors.
LDR. Heard of
LDR,
it?
yes,
Have you heard
LDR.
of it? LDR.
LDR, LDR,
LDR full form is
yes, sir, they
light
are resistors,
dependent resistor.
Light
light
dependent
detecting
resistor.
resistors.
Very good. So
They
if
work
light is there, at that time the resistance will become less. Less means it becomes 1 2 ohm, it becomes 100 ohm or 50 ohm. 100 ohm, 50 ohm are very less resistance. Okay.
mm,
So as soon as we are just flashing light on that thing, the resistance becomes very less. So that is LDR. And as soon as you are making it dark, so what you can do is you can take it between two of your fingers and you can just press it like this. You can see my finger in the screen. So ऐसा ऐसा दबा दो उसको, इतना छोटा सा कंपोनेंट रहता है उसका, दो लीड्स रहता है ऐसा. So just take the thing and just press it by your finger. It becomes dark, and between these two leads you can connect the ohm meter. So across this two lead, as soon as it is you are pressing it like this, you will be finding resistance goes into mega ohm. So just imagine how fast the resistance changes from mega ohm to simple 5 or 10 ohm. Okay, so the rate of change is very fast. So when light is there, resistance is very less, 10 ohm, 100 ohm or something. When dark is there, at that time resistance goes into mega ohm. So that is actually a light sensor, or it is called as LDR. ये सब तो ठीक है. So you understand what is sensor. Anybody, can you tell me what is meant by actuator? Any idea?
Um,
What is meant by actuator? I'll just give you a case. Okay, just listen to that.
Sir,
Okay, yeah. Naveen wants to say something. Bolo.
sir, actuator that converts mechanical to electrical or electrical to mechanical.
Actuator is actually a actuating thing. So it takes a electrical signal and it converts it into mechanical.
okay.
Understandable. So what does a sensor do? Sensor takes any physical parameter and converts into electrical signal.
converted to electric signal, yes, sir.
Converting it into change of resistance. Resistance is a electrical quantity. So if you are just connecting LDR with a Wheatstone bridge or something, or if you have connected it to a supply, so the voltage across LDR is the indicator of light or dark. So as soon as it is dark, resistance of LDR increases, voltage across LDR increases. As soon as it is light, on enlightened scenario, voltage across LDR becomes very less. So that is the indication that it is a light situation. But just see an example. Just you are a person, you are sitting very quietly. There is a mosquito bite in your left hand. What it does? What is the next reaction to you? What the next reaction do you give? There's a mosquito bite in your left hand. What do you do? and
You
mosquito is
move the
still
right
there.
hand.
You move the right hand, right?
Right hand. Yes.
You take your right hand and you try to kill that mosquito.
Kill
So
the
what is
mosquito.
your right hand? Right hand is the actuator. Is it
Moving.
understandable now? That is the
Yes.
movement. So as soon as there is a mosquito bite in your left hand, there is produced a signal. Actually, there is produced a signal means that is actually the sensed signal. So the mosquito bite. So that bite is getting converted into some kind of electrical impulses, and that is going to your brain, which is nothing but a microcontroller. Microcontroller understands that something is happening, and microcontroller wants to do something. Okay, so can it directly go to the stage, that point where the mosquito bite is there and kill? No, it has to actuate something. So in that case, the brain actuates your right hand. Okay, so which hand to actuate, that also your microcontroller knows. Your left hand, there is a mosquito bite. Can you kill it by your left hand?
No, sir.
No, right?
No.
So there are two decisions. There are two decisions the microcontroller, that is your brain, makes. That is, first decision is there is a mosquito bite and I have to kill the mosquito. That is the first decision. So for killing the mosquito, I have to energize one of my hand. That is the first decision. Second decision is I have to energize my right hand. Okay, so brain now energizes his right hand, and right hand goes and kills the mosquito which is sitting on the left hand. So how many decisions? Two decisions. First decision is I have to energize one hand, and second decision is I have to energize my right hand, because there are two hands. If mosquito is on the left hand and again you are energizing your left hand to kill it, it cannot happen. So what is an actuator? So whenever there is a LDR, or whenever, as Pranita said, there is a, suppose, ultrasonic sensor. Pranita, do you know how to drive a car?
Yes.
Okay, you drive a car. Suppose it's an unknown road or something, and you suppose are in a T joint. Okay, so you are going straight, and there is a road goes left, and there is a road goes right, and straight there is a barrier blockage,
Right, sir.
and exactly it's a 90-degree kind of a T joint. So you don't know the road, but it's night time, and you are driving. Suddenly, what you find is there is a road blockage, and you have to go right. So what is your reaction then and there? What do you do?
First, check for the direction. Like,
Yeah, direction, you want to go right, and there is a T joint, and there is a blockage totally exactly in front of you. There is a big wall, or there is a big hill. You cannot go front. So what do you do in the car? What are your activities related to car? What
related
do
to
you
car, I
do?
have to take the reverse first. If I
No, why do you
suddenly,
want to take reverse? You can go always right, okay, or you can go left.
okay, you mean but there is a barrier in front, you said, right? Immediately
Not
in the
barrier,
front.
not barrier. So I said there is a T joint,
Okay, okay. T joint, then I have to go to the right.
right or left.
Means
Fine, you want to go to the right. Then what will you do?
I didn't
You
get
do
your
it.
question actually.
What exactly do you in the car? Automatically you do on your own, but what all activities you do?
I slow down the
Steering.
car,
You
sir.
mean the steering of the car?
First you press the brake, right? Automatically you do
Okay.
by instinctively. But what all things you do? Just tell us what all you do at that time.
When I should slowly apply the brake. For that, I have to change the gear also, and then
Yes.
shift, and then steer towards the right side, and then move, and then again I have to like take the steering back to the straight, and then yeah, this is the
Fine.
response.
So
And then
so
I have to
suppose so,
accelerate once I go to the right. Like
correct.
once I
So
found it.
suppose driver is not there. Driver is not there. It's a
Mhm.
autopilot kind of a thing. It's a auto car. What all things will happen in that case? Can you just
In
tell me?
that case, yes, there like the sensors will be attached in from the front bonnet, and the with the
What
mm,
type of sensor?
yeah, here we can use the ultrasonic sensor,
Very good. Proceed
and
then.
then infrared sense, like which gives the length, only distinguish between the far end or short end. We have different types of sensors attached to the car, which
Mm-hmm.
distinguish from the far end or it is the rear end.
Mm-hmm.
And according to then, the sensors will detect if there is an obstacle at certain at so and so distance, and
Very good.
according to the calculation it will rotate the steering so that we should take to the right. And then the steering angle calculation and everything happens in the ECU
So
according to the
it's
program.
a T joint. You have to do full right or thoda sa right.
It is a full
Full right.
yeah,
Understandable. It's a full right. That
full
means
right
you have to just keep on rotating, or the autopilot has to keep on rotating the steering too
to the
much towards the
maximum.
right side, almost 90-degree.
Yes, to the maximum.
Understandable.
Yes,
So this is actually what is meant by actuation. Now is it understandable? What is actuation? So the autopilot, or you, if you are there as a driver, or any of you three are there as a driver, then if you are thinking the whole system, the car system, then actuation is done by you. Okay, or if actuation is done by you, and what is the actuation part? That first you have to press the brake, you have to make the car slow because you want to take a turn, and that turn is almost 90-degree. Then you have to press the clutch, then you have to maybe shift the gear or something, and then you have to take the turn. And after taking turn, maybe again you find the road is clear, again you have to shift gear and take to a higher gear and take speed and go on. So this whole process is called as actuation, and it started with what? It started with the sensing. And what was the sensing? The sensing was, it's a T joint, and in front I cannot go, and I want to go to the right, and I have to take a sharp right turn. The word is very important, sharp. So now is it understandable what is meant by actuation and what is meant by sensing? So what happens first, sensing or actuation?
sensing.
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 Understandable? So always remember, I have given you two examples. Okay, so try to understand things this simply and think, because you are now MTech student. बहुत सिंपल सिंपल जो चीज़ होता है हमारे अराउंड में, एवरीवेयर देयर इज अ सेंसिंग एंड एक्चुएशन. सो सेंसिंग हैपेंस फर्स्ट and then there is a actuation. So somebody just said, Pranita said, sir, I'm not able to hear sound, you are late, there is your voice breaking. So I sensed there is some problem at this session. Okay, but I found other two persons are able to listen properly, and in my side a lot of lectures are being conducted. So maybe there is a problem at the receiver side. So I requested Pranita, will you please check your this thing, internet connectivity. So sensing if proper, then only you can take proper actuation. If sensing is improper, then the actuation mechanism also will be improper. And there is another very small step. It is not a mechanical step, but it is a just one second. I'll just mute. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I had to take the call, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so between sensing and actuation, there is another step. Can you tell me what is that? I think I should tell you. So this is something called as understanding the sensed signal. Okay, so if somebody has come and just shouted, "अरे चोर आया, चोर आया, चोर आया," and तुमने क्या किया? तुम लाठी लेके घर से भाग गए चोर को मारने. You did not even check whether actually something is happening or not. Okay, so in that case, whatever actuation is happening, that actuation will become wrong. Is it understandable? So whatever sensed signal from the sensor, because there will be lot of sensors in the car, whatever sensor signal you are getting, proper analysis of that, that is very important. So between sensing and actuation, there is another step which generally is not written in the book, but whenever you will be doing some projects and all, at that time it will be very much important. Have you heard of data acquisition system, DAC or something? Electrical people?
Yes.
Ye-
Yes.
yes, sir.
Naveen?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Have you seen ECG system or something like that?
Yes, sir.
ECG होते हुए देखा है? Okay. There is something
हाँ.
called as EEG. ईईजी पता है, इलेक्ट्रोएन्केफेलोग्राफी, उस सर के ऊपर बहुत सारा ऐसा 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 लगाता है,
हाँ.
बहुत सारा lot of wires and all this thing, and it comes out and it goes into a system, and that captures all the data. Okay, so what is that thing called? Data acquisition system. So it captures all the data. After all the data is captured, immediately we are not getting the medicine. Okay, so either you say ECG or you say ECU. Full form of ECU in a car, it is called as electronic control unit. So whatever sensed parameters we are obtaining through ECU in a car, so all the sensed signals are first analyzed, and after analysis the actuation happens. So between sensing and actuation there is another step which is called as whatever data acquisition, that means whatever sensed signal, that signal has to be analyzed. So between sensing and actuation there is another step. What is that? लिख के रखो. That is called as analysis of the sensed signal, and that has to happen very fast. Pranita, can you explain why it has to happen very fast with the example that you had told me? That is, it's a
So
T
that
joint and you have sensed that maybe in
so
5 meter there is a barrier.
yes. So it shouldn't go like once it is detected, it should be analyzed. Otherwise, it will go for a long actuator and it will hit. Maybe it will hit the like it will hit
Maybe
the
it will
wall in
hit the
front,
barrier
uh,
ahead. So
barrier
the
ahead. Yeah.
analysis has to happen very fast. Okay, that's why we should not take much time for analysis. As soon as the signal is sensed, very fast it should be analyzed, and it should be a proper analysis. It should not happen that we have analyzed but analyzed it wrong, and you have sensed some signal and signal is saying though there is a block in front of you, but it is saying no, no, there is no block in front of you, you can go straight. Then you will go and you will make an accident. Okay, so sensing, analysis, actuation, that is very important. Okay, so what all sensors, I think slide is visible, just check. Basic sensor arrangement, types of sensors such as lambda sensor, oxygen sensor. This is from car point of view. Naveen, can you tell me why oxygen sensor is required?
So
Where in
for
the
the
car we
operation,
require oxygen sensor? Yes.
of AC and also, and
Not inside the car, not for us.
in cooling, the cooling of the engine, sir.
Okay, for cooling of the engine also you need air. Do we require a air sensor in the inside the IC engine?
No, sir. If the engine is auto cooled or air liquid cooled, if liquid cooled, then
Okay, so
oxygen
whether it
sensor.
is air cooled, fine. So we need to check oxygen sensors. So where all oxygen sensors are available, we will see in the car. Third is crank angle position sensor. Can all of you understand this? What is crank angle, what is crankshaft and all? So inside the internal combustion
Yeah.
engine, IC engine, so the crankshaft keeps on rotating. So finding the position of the crank, I think we can take the next decision or something. So this we have to check exactly. Crank angle position sensor. So position sensor means it will be giving you something output in the form of angle. So how much angle the crank is creating with some reference position, that you have to check. Fuel metering and vehicle speed sensor. So there is a dial in the dashboard, and in the dial dashboard always वो दो डंडी तीन डंडी दिखाता है. So as we are
Mm.
having in our mobile phone, there are चार डंडी पांच डंडी रहता है for charge. The same thing is there in case of car also. So that is actually the fuel. चार पांच डंडी रहता है, तो that means the tank is full. You can go 300, 400, or maybe 200, 300 kilometers. If the tank is half, you can calibrate accordingly. So fuel metering and vehicle speed sensor that is there in a dashboard. Flow sensor. Flow for what?
Fuel.
Naveen, can you help us?
Fuel, sir. For the flow of fuel.
For flow of fuel. Throttle position sensor. What is meant by throttle?
Acceleration, sir.
Okay. So there is something called as full throttle. Full throttle means the full acceleration. That means car is at peak of its power. Solenoid. What is solenoid? Electrical people. Solenoid. So solenoid is an actuator. It's getting electrical pulses
Coil.
as the input.
Battery. Mm.
Okay, it is getting electrical pulses as the input, and it is generating some kind of mechanical motion. So
Mechanical motion.
solenoid, a mechanical motion. So it's electrical to mechanical. So solenoid is an actuator. You can understand. Stepper motor. So stepper motor is actually a rotation that happens in steps. Okay, so we give one pulse, it rotates by 10 degree. If we give three pulse, it will rotate by 30 degree. Okay, so each step it is rotating by some angle. So 10, 20, 30, 40, accordingly it's keeping on rotating. Okay, relays, electronic fuel injection and ignition system. So we will study about this. Introduction, feedback carburetor system. So carburetor is a mechanical thing. We will find it out. Throttle body injection, multi-point, point fuel injection. So this is all about fuel injection. So how the fuel injection is taking place, we will learn. Fuel means whatever petrol, diesel, whatever thing you are giving, that actually, and it is not only fuel. Okay, air is also sucked by the engine. So air and fuel, they make a combustible mixture, and that mixture is burnt, and whatever, and the full Naveen will tell us about that. Can we get the full energy from the fuel, or something is wasted?
Some amount of energy is wasted, sir.
Lot of amount of energy is wasted because we don't get the complete combustion of the fuel.
Yes. In two stroke it happens, sir. Maximum amount of fuel will be
Well,
get.
that's why a lot of thing comes out as the through the exhaust. It comes as a black kind of a fume, and that is also carrying a lot of fuel in it. So a car, as it gets old, okay, at the time their fuel mixing capacity and extracting the energy from the fuel, that capacity keeps on becoming less. So car is getting old. That means engine cannot extract maximum energy from the fuel. Okay, so this is one thing. So what is meant by fuel injection? The fuel and gas, air, they mix, and they create a combustible kind of a mixture. Okay. Then powertrain and body chassis. So this is totally automobile thing. Automotive transmission, that means power transmission. Generally from the engine is there in the front, and from there how the power is taken back, and different places in the automobile that you will see. Transmission fundamentals, MT, AT. So these are manual transmission is MT, automatic transmission is AT. Vehicle braking fundamentals. So whenever you are transmitting power, it is power transmission. Whenever you are braking the transmission, it is called as automatic braking. So it is vehicle braking, introduction to anti-lock braking system, ABS, and then steering control. So steering is there, which is kind of a control of the whole car, and there are a lot of things related to steering control. Okay, so we are having very less, some 5-7 minutes. I'll be just very fast showing you some diagrams. Just go through very fast what all things you can find. Iram, will you please go through what all things are there.
Yes, sir.
Start from this point, electrical drives, top left.
Drives, then
Okay.
transmission control,
No, see, one thing I'll
connectivity,
tell you.
TV module.
One thing I'll tell you. This slide I will send to you today. Okay. This slide I will
Yes, sir.
send to you today. So this is one diagram where how to read the diagram, I'll just tell you. So electrical drives. Electrical drive means kind of a motor or something. So where all you are having motor in the car, that is written here. Is it understandable? So it is auto kind of a car. So mirror is having a motor. Seat. Okay, so auto reclining and all those things. That seat also is having a motor. Sunroof. So not every car is having a sunroof, but yes, high-end car, costly car, they are having sunroof. To open and close the sunroof, you have to use a motor. Wiper, that is
Motor.
there on the front glass. If it is raining or something, at that time there is a wiper, and there is a window. So apart from the main power transmission, these are the small things where you are having the motors. Okay, another slide I am seeing. Is it visible? It's called Nidec
Yes, sir.
Automotive Brushed Motors.
Yes, sir.
What does it show?
Yes, sir.
Pranita, can you just tell what is
Types of
possible?
motors.
One thing can you tell me
Front.
one difference in this? Compare this is a foreign car or Indian car? How do you understand?
Steering, sir.
So Naveen will tell us whether
Steering
it's
on
a
the right
foreign
or
car or
left,
Indian car.
Sir,
depending
it's
on the
foreign car,
steering
sir.
It's a
position.
foreign car because it is having steering in the left side. Okay.
Yes,
It's on the left side.
Yeah. So steering in the left side, it's a foreign car. So what this slide actually is telling us, what all motors we are having in a car. Okay,
Mm.
so first we are finding from the top. So there is a sunroof motor, then there is hatch or tailgate motor, and there is window lift motor, there is seat motor, there
Window.
is steering adjust motor. So this is mainly important, steering adjust motor everybody is using. HVAC motor, what is that? What is
High
HVAC?
high voltage AC motor.
High voltage HVAC. What is HVAC? Naveen.
AC.
Which is
Okay, so it's a
used
high
for
voltage AC motor.
Blower. Blower motor.
Okay, we'll find it out. Okay, so engine cooling motor is there and ABS motor. What is ABS? You can find here. What is
mm,
that? Introduction to
anti-lock
and
braking system.
anti-lock braking system. So
Anti-lock
what is the
braking
anti-lock.
system?
system.
That also we are supposed to find out. So these are the kind of a motors that we are finding here. Okay, I'll go to the previous slide. So it is first top left. We are finding electrical drives here. Then there is airbag. So what all things we have to control? Everything is there in this airbag. We know what is airbag. Okay, this is a foreign car or Indian car.
Foreign,
Foreign car.
All of you agree to this?
Yes.
Okay, this is also a foreign car because it's having steering in the left side. So there is an airbag for both the driver and person sitting in the front seat. Then there is engine control unit. Okay, and there is power steering. What is this? HID LED lighting. So HID LED lighting, it happens automatically in case of a ADAS. What is ADAS? Again, I'll show you another slide.
Or ADAS.
Can you see the slide?
advanced driver
Top
Advanced
right,
assistant.
advanced driver assistance
driver
system.
assistance.
So you will be having a guest lecture. So there is a company as Continental. Heard of it?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
there
Yes,
is
sir.
a automobile, very famous company. I think they're German. So it's known as Continental. So from there, one person is there. He's working in the field of ADAS. Okay, so that is Advanced Driver Assistance System. So somewhere in this month or maybe next month, you will be having a guest lecture on ADAS. Okay. So in ADAS, you will be finding what is this thing. So automatically, if there is very much, uh, it's dark and all around to the car, the light will glow automatically, and the signaling also will be done automatically. So that is that HID LED lighting. What is meant by diagnosis unit? Any idea?
Sir, any problem in the vehicle is
Any
diagnosed.
problem
Like
in
we
the
see,
vehicle? So this is
Diagnosis.
kind of a black box. So there is a black box in the aeroplane. I think you have heard of it. So whenever there happens
Yes.
some kind of accident in the airplane, first we try to find out what is a black box. Okay. So black box is something which is a kind of a diagnostic tool for the thing. Okay. What is meant by climate control?
sir, for this is for AC, sir. And
So
inside temperature.
inside the car, it is not only what is meant by air condition. What is meant by air condition? Is it only injecting cool air inside the home or inside the car?
No, sir, it will
No.
inject both here, hot air as well as
Both
according to
hot
the
Anything
and
else?
temperature outside.
Anything else? Will you please check what all conditioning can be done for air in case of hospital or human being or something? It is not only hot. It is hot air. It is cool air. It is amount of oxygen. Okay, so that's why oxygen sensor was there. Naveen said it correct. So inside the car for whoever passengers are there, for them oxygen is required. And if I'm not wrong, inside the engine also, how much is the oxygen and what is the air quality? That is also very much important. So when we will study the oxygen sensor, we'll find out whether it is only for the passengers or it's for the engine also for combustion. Okay, so climate control does not mean only AC, that means cooling. No, it says hot air, cool air, oxygen, and one very more important thing we did not talk about. Can you just find out what is that? About air quality. Have anybody been
Filter.
to Bombay? Any of you three? Mumbai, Bombay. What is the problem with Bombay in
Yes.
summer season? Summer season Bombay, what is the problem? Temperature is 35, 36, 37. But everybody keeps on sweating. In office, we change two shirts. Sometimes we keep one shirt in the bag and we go to office and change in the midterm. Why it happens so? Temperature is kind of 35, 36.
Hi.
What is the problem there in Bombay?
Humid.
Humidity. Okay. So more than temperature, humidity
Humidity.
causes worse problem to us as far as our comfort is concerned. Maybe it is 30 degrees centigrade, but if it is very humid inside the car, you will feel like you are boiling. Okay, so it is not only temperature, but humidity also matters. So whenever I am saying air conditioning, what all conditioning I am doing? Hot, cool, oxygen, air quality, humidity, particle in the air, suspended kind of a pollution particle in the air. It should not be there. So there is a air filter which is actually filtering the air when it is going towards the engine. Am I correct, Naveen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there is a air filter and there is a oil filter in the car. Okay, so oil filter filters the oil before it enters the main engine. Air filters the air before it enters the engine. So all those things are there. Fine. So time is up. What I want you to do is I'll be sending you this slide. So how many images can you see? One. This image is visible. Can you just tell
Yes,
me
sir.
what is this? I'm pointing at
Night
top
vision.
left corner. What is written?
Night vision. Night
Night vision.
vision.
Can you now tell me what is this? I'm just circling my pointer on.
Active vibration control.
It is called as active vibration control. Girls,
Yes,
is it
sir.
visible? Okay. Left side, right side,
Vibration.
can you see? It is security system.
Yes.
Okay.
Active vibration
So
control.
all, yeah, security system, active vibration control, everything. So all these things you have to check. So this is the fifth slide. So five images I will show, and this covers everything about automobile. So all these things we have to study, and whatever syllabus we are having for unit 1 and unit 2, you should know exactly which point of the car we are indicating. My motto is clear. Am I able to convey it what exactly I want to do? Understandable? So all the systems that you are seeing here in these five images, you have to categorize from your chapters, that module 1 and module 2. If I say suddenly that starting system, okay, series motor, and check this diagram, where are we now? Which position of the car? Are we in the middle of the car or front side of the car or back side of the car?
Front.
If I am saying this, if I'm saying this, that is series motor or the charging system, or maybe starting system, I'm sorry, starting system, series motor. Where am I in this diagram? Middle,
Front.
back,
Front.
front,
Front.
engine. So I'm there
Front.
in
Engine.
the front of the engine. Is it understandable what I want you to do? So it's not an
Yes.
assignment. Just sit with this diagram. Just see all these circuits. So in this there are 12, 13 circuits. In this there are certain units. Okay. So just try to figure out where exactly you are inside a car if you are seeing these topics with respect to this diagram. And all these labeled diagrams will help you find out exactly what is there inside the car. And these images are actually very much advanced. Your syllabus was designed long back, so a lot of things will not match with the syllabus. Apart from syllabus, there are a lot of things. Don't worry about that, but at least this slide is easy. These are all about motors, and ADAS will be having our lecture on. Just a guess, 1 minute I will take from you. What exactly am I showing? What should be the title of this slide?
So recharging, sir, and car entertainment.
Top
Electric
right corner,
autonomous
whatever diagram
driving.
is there. Top right corner,
Yes,
whatever diagram is there. Naveen, is it a IC engine?
no, sir, it is electrical.
engine.
It is
Electrical.
electrical. How do you know?
So the charging point,
In
sir.
this picture,
But top right corner, there is no charging point here. Top right, I'm circling on this. There is an arrow. So what I understand is this is a maybe IC engine or something or whatever. But this is a what is this? Electrical people, can you tell me? So this is a microcontroller. Okay,
Chip,
this is a microcontroller which is
chip.
taking whatever kind of engine is this, doesn't matter. This microcontroller is picking up all the data. So this microcontroller based data acquisition system is giving us all the data about this engine, whatever type of engine it is, and we can have a data acquisition system. What about this? This is electrical, as Naveen has shown. What is the color of all these things? At the top symbols.
Green.
What are the color of all the symbols? It is green. Okay, why green?
Green.
Because this is a green energy. So there is a green energy kind of a thing. What is this showing? They
green.
are telling us all the vitals
Input.
of the car, all the characteristics of the car that is picked up by data acquisition system. And this was also another car, and this is the power transmission system, and all the data related to this is picked up by this. So this slide is not very important, but this is just showing you that there are data acquisition system at every point, and we can pick up data from every point in a car. Okay, but mainly this slide is important. Body electronics and infotainment system. What is meant by infotainment?
Which maintains all the
What is
music
meant by infotainment? It's a
and
full form information and
display
entertainment.
of the display of
Okay, it's a
information.
combination of information and entertainment. Information about every part of the body of the car, and entertainment means what all multimedia, songs, music, videos you are running in the car. And this is a motor system, and these two slides are very important. So I'll be sending you all these slides by email. Just check it. Okay, any doubts you have now?
No, sir.
Any more doubts? Can we finish the session now? So this